taking a look at Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation 1. The Crash Bandicoot franchise is my favorite video game series of all time, so let's dive right in. Crash Bandicoot was created by Jason Rubin and Andy Gavin, the founders of Naughty Dog, in 1996, and it quickly became one of the most famous platforming mascots in the gaming industry, also being Sony's unofficial mascot and Spyro's older brother, but we will get to Spyro the Dragon in later episodes in the show. Crash Bandicoot was a huge step in gaming since this was all a 3D platformer. It had varieties of gameplay such as 2D sections, 3D sections, and running straight to the camera away from a big-ass fucking boulder. Run like the wind, Crash! Crash Bandicoot has had 11 console games and about 4 games on handheld consoles like DS and Game Boy Advance, but we don't talk about the DS one. And I'm not planning on it. Crash Bandicoot has had 15 installments and many cancelled games. He also had 2 mobile games and had lots of merchandise released since he was super popular. Crash Bandicoot hasn't seen the light of day for 6 to 8 years until a historic E3 conference at Sony. The Bandicoot came back. If you would like to see my reaction or any kind of info on what I think of this, go to the description below and check out those links to my other videos. Now that we had a quick recap on Crash, let's dive into this game. The story of the first Crash Bandicoot game is that Dr. Cortex, the antagonist of this fun adventure, created Crash Bandicoot and was running tests on him. Crash Bandicoot was a failed experiment and then escaped by jumping out of a window, falling down into an island, and left his girlfriend Tana at Cortex's castle. Yeah, real fucking slick, Crash. You're gonna get laid for that one. Not. And now since he's washed up on an island, we then start the adventure to stop Dr. Cortex and save Tana so he can get laid. Yeah, that last part was made up. Crash Bandicoot's method of attacks is jumping on the enemies. Crash also breaks crates and can collect Wumpa fruits out of them. 100 Wumpas equals 1 life. And he can crack open a crate with magical masks, Aku Aku, which Crash gets an extra hit point, and 3 masks will get you invincibility for a short amount of time. And then you have these retarded time-wasting crates that you can bounce on and get 10 Wumpas out of it. Boy, let me tell you, it is tedious at points. Let's not forget his main method of attacking, his infamous spin attack. That's Crash Bandicoot's main move. This is used along with jumping to kill enemies and break crates. There are 32 total levels in Crash Bandicoot, having 6 boss fights, and of course the final one is Dr. Cortex. Other boss fights you got are characters such as Pinstripe, Dr. Embryo, Ripperoo, Papu Papu, and Koala Kong. These boss fights are pretty horseshit on difficulty, but the only legitimate hard one is probably, and maybe, Dr. Embryo. All the other boss fights, like I said, have horseshit difficulty, but the last boss fight with Cortex can be kind of hard, maybe a little tricky. But if you want the definition of easy out of these pieces of shit, oh my god. Papu Papu, the freaking abomination of a boss fight. Holy shit. This guy is literally one of the worst boss fights ever. The bastard doesn't do anything but spins his big ass stick around the room and slams it and let his fat jiggle. Then Crash has to jump on his back 3 times. At least the other ones are fun, I guess, and not stupidly easy like Papu Papu here. But I'll admit, I do like the character himself though. Now that's out of the way, let's get more into the gameplay and controls. Crash Bandicoot controls are a little clunky at times, especially on certain platforms. Jumping in the game can feel off at times, and the controls sometimes can be a little too loose on certain points. In my opinion, I think some of it is actually pretty tight at points. Because, well, it's the first part of the game, so you aren't going to experience bullshit, honestly. Crash Bandicoot's jumping isn't too precise. As in, if you land on a small platform that's a little shaky, then you're going to go a little too over. You are bound to slide a bit and fall off. And boy, let me tell you, I wasn't fond of that. The most precise you can get on his jumping is at times the 2D sections. The way I'm describing his jumping seems like it's up the ass awful, but I assure you, it is easy to make jumps, but just a little loose and slippery at times. The graphics for the most part of Crash is awesome. For the PS1 era, I bet it was mind-blowing, with bright and awesome colors and really creative looking levels. Crash level areas consist of a few different ones: factory-like areas, island-like areas, the native kind of areas, and creek-looking kind of areas. And for one level, riding on a hog. It's awesome, and that's what's good about Crash Bandicoot's level in this game. the most part, they do look the same, but there is no doubt there is added difficulty throughout them, even if they look similar. That's another thing about this game. It's pretty fucking hard, man. Especially the run, for the love of God, run! Slippery Climb is the most fucked up, fucked over, and fucking hardest level in this entire game. You are about to get a freaking game over in that sense, and if it's your first time playing the game. It's gonna be pretty freaking ugly. Now, I didn't mention this before, but added difficulty is that to pass or 100% the game, get this shit. You need to not die once in a level. Collect all the boxes and make it safely to the end. Did I mention without dying? Yeah, that's kind of bullshit considering attempting to beat this bullshit of a freaking level. The save system is ass too. The only way you can save is by getting these 3 mugshots of Bandicoot, which brings you to the bonus area. And here's the thing, you gotta reach the bonus end, which is the only way you could save your game. And if you die, you're fucked until you get to another bonus round. And let me say this right now, the bonus areas aren't hard at all. But when you are nervous as all shit and try to beat it, well, it can be stressful. Especially since the game really kicks it up a notch on the tie the controller around your neck level and strangle yourself with wires. Yep, I just made a reference to another YouTuber. The levels, I might add, really do show and give you that feeling of progression, which is a good thing. A game that, like that, giving you the feeling of accomplishment is awesome, and such a great feeling, honestly. After the huge adventure of Crash Bandicoot, the game ends with you defeating Cortex, stopping his plans, saving Bandicoot, and the Crash goes home and gets laid. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Also, if you get all the gems in the game, you can hop onto a platform of gems, skip the entire Cortex boss fight entirely, fly on a bird with Tawna, and leaves the blimp and gets ready to get laid. Yeah, that's an overused joke. I'm sorry. Now, what do I think of Crash Bandicoot? I think the game is good. Awesome level design with nice atmosphere to it, and the music in the game can give it a nice atmosphere, but the soundtrack isn't all that special. It is a fun game with weird amounts of difficulty, fun boss fights, except Papu Papu, shitty ass save systems, retarded controls at times, and finally the stupid ass 100% idea. Fuck that shit. Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation 1 gets a 7 out of 10. If you haven't played any of the Crash Bandicoot games, then you need to check this one out, or the other games for PS1. I'll be reviewing Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, next Friday, so stay tuned and watch out for that.